The New York Jets need a prominent starter for the 2023-2024 NFL season. Zach Wilson, the guy that they drafted second overall and not even a full 2 years ago, has been benched for the second time this season. With that, Mike White is the QB1 once again. In fact, he's played all three quarterback strings that you could possibly play in the NFL. Overall, Mike White could easily be a solid starter for the New York Jets, but being a free agent season to end, the Jets will have to go back out and re-sign him. I could see New York bringing Mike White back on possibly a one-year deal worth $7 or $7.5 million. He still has a lot to prove in the bigs. Overall, though, Zach Wilson could still stay on the team, but he needs to be demoted to either QB3 or practice squad. I really cannot see the New York Jets trading this guy off. If so, they would have to eat $11 million. Releasing Zach Wilson, they would have to eat $20 million. Now, when you look at other quarterback options, you have the dreaming section, the realistic section, and the mid section. We're going to start with the dreaming section. Aaron Rodgers, most likely he's going to be out of Green Bay for the 2023 season. He's a guy who's still putting up very solid numbers, still a very playoff-capable quarterback, but he's near the end of his career. He has possibly 2, maybe 3 years left. The New York Jets could bring Aaron Rodgers in, but this is a short-term situational fix for what needs to be something for a franchise quarterback fix. Aaron Rodgers would not be the New York Jets franchise quarterback. Then you have Lamar Jackson, who's more of a running back than quarterback and is going to command a lot of money to bring him into New York. Overall, I could see him going back to the Baltimore Ravens. The New York Jets would have to put a lot on the table to bring Lamar Jackson in. But overall, this is a guy who I mentioned earlier, runs more than throws the ball. The Jets have very, very good wide receivers. You got Garrett Wilson, who's the WR1 this season. You gotta utilize the young talent you have in your wideout section. And then you have the realistic category, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, and Ryan Tannehill. Jimmy Garoppolo could easily lead the New York Jets undoubtedly to the playoffs, but this is a guy who seems to have very major injuries in his career. He's not out for a 1 or 2 week span. He's out usually for the rest of the season when he gets injured. Nevertheless, he's a solid and now veteran quarterback. He was drafted by the New England Patriots, worked under Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. He was set to be Tom Brady's replacement, but Tom Brady, of course, he never retired, so then he was dealt it off to the 49ers, brought the 49ers to a Super Bowl, to which they lost, a defensive collapse led by now New York Jet head coach Robert Saleh, but you have that chemistry there. If Jimmy G comes to New York, the only factor being him being injury prone. Then you have Derek Carr, a mid quarterback who overall would not come in that much to bring into New York, but he's a liability. He's been in the NFL for 9 years and he only has 2 winning seasons. He has a 63-79 win-loss record through 142 games. In fact, he was just benched by the Raiders organization. So the New York Jets are looking for a quarterback because of the guy that they drafted not even 2 years ago was benched. So let's go out and get another quarterback who was just benched by their respective organization. That won't fix any problem whatsoever, and I cannot stress that enough. Then you have Ryan Tannehill, who undoubtedly flipped the Tennessee Titans organization. He made the Tennessee Titans offense a playoff-capable offense. But overall, here in 2022, he's been very inconsistent, and he's going to command a very good amount of money coming over. Also, being a long-time seasoned vet, he could possibly be the franchise quarterback for the New York Jets, but his inconsistency is 100% worrisome to me. And then you have the mid-tier. Baker Mayfield sucked in Cleveland despite 1 year and just was an absolute horrific quarterback in Carolina. Comes over to LA, so far has won 2 out of 3 games with the Rams. Yes, he's doing very well on the LA Rams, but we're talking about a very short sample size so far, and even so, this is a guy that had a lot of weapons in Cleveland when Cleveland made the playoffs and he choked. He's a choker. Then you have Jacoby Brissett, who's a mid-quarterback, a clear backup quarterback, overall an 18-30 win-loss record. With Cleveland this year, he brought them to a losing record. He's the sole reason the offense had a collapse and the Cleveland Browns are not going to make the playoffs. And then you have Teddy Bridgewater, who's undoubtedly one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL and is a very solid starter when he gets that opportunity. Now that I would not mind to see him come over to New York. I feel like he would fit very well with the New York Jets offensive scheme. And then finally, a guy that so many people want is Gardner Minshew, who overall has shown a lot of potential. 43 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, a quarterback win-loss column of 8 and 15. Overall, these were mainly with rebuilding teams. This is a guy who's played in 31 games, has started 23 of them, and has a 63% completion percentage. Overall, a very young player that could be molded. I feel like he's more of a Mike White kind of player, a guy who does not get that many opportunities but makes the most out of them. I do think the best option would be to keep Mike White for at least a year, see how things play out. But these are the options laid out on the table most likely for the New York Jets this upcoming NFL offseason. I do think, though, if Mike White wins the next 2 games and the New York Jets possibly make the playoffs, but mainly looking at the possible 2 wins that Mike White could bring the team, that would mean most likely he would be the New York Jets starter in 2023. Comment down below what you guys think. I'm Dominic Konowski. I'm signing out. Take it easy, folks.